outside the exhibition GO station. The right lane is blocked off with a stalled vehicle. No tow on scene yet, and it's in the middle of the construction zone, so only a single lane is getting by right now. It's jammed on the eastbound Gardner because of this, from east of Islington all the way through to east of Jameson. Eastbound Lakeshore really heavy off the Gardner past Windermere through to Parkside, and then slow again approaching Jameson, and then backed up from about Strawn off and on to east of Bathurst heading into downtown. So bad drive on those alternates as always, but that extra issue is causing big delays on the Gardner. Now problems at Jameson and Lakeshore have fully cleared away. That's good news. Southbound Jameson has reopened at Lakeshore. That's out of there. Westbound on the Gardner Expressway is backed up from Jarvis to Strong, and then West GW delays from west of the 427 to Huron, Ontario, and Fort Drive to Trafalgar. From the traffic center, here's Craig Gear.
New crash on the westbound 401 delays Brock Street towards Salem, Victoria Park to Avenue Road alternating, and then from Keel Express 400 collectors to Dixon. You pass by this collision west of the BVP. It's in the Express, and then block east 401 drags from east of the 410 to the 400. Frank Leo of Remax has a multi-million-dollar marketing system to get your home sold, guaranteed, or Frank will buy it. Go to getleo.com and start packing with confidence. With the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Hot, humid for you today. Less humid, though, tomorrow and on the weekend. And then the extreme heat arrives next week. Heads up for showers and thunderstorms today, too. Some of these storms could be pretty intense. Right now, light wind out of the south-southwest, mostly cloudy, 20 degrees at Toronto Pearson. The guaranteed high today, 29.
680 News Time, 7:33.
Terrifying moments on a TTC bus last evening in Etobicoke when a knife fight broke out between two teenage boys.
680's Carl Hansky joins us live from the scene on Park Lawn north of the Queensway with the injuries and the arrests. Carl.
That was while on board a moving TTC bus here on Park Lawn north of the Queensway where two 15-year-old boys got into an argument that escalated into a knife fight. Both boys pulled out knives and stabbed each other in front of other passengers.
That's scary. Really, I think that's really scary. Like, what's happening at home? Like, what's going on in their lives for them to get to that point?
To be carrying knives at 15.
Yeah, it's really, really scary. So, in my opinion, the law needs to get tougher. The young offender act, I feel like they get away with a lot.
Both boys were taken to the hospital, and both teens now also facing charges. A woman who just happened to be on the bus near the boys was also injured in the knife fight, but I'm told her injuries are just minor. Reporting live on Park Lawn north of the Queensway, I'm Carl Hansky.
680 News Time, 7:34. Thousands of screening officers at Pearson Airport have reportedly voted in favor of a strike, and it's not the only labor dispute threatening to disrupt summer travel. 680's Laura Carney is on her way to the airport and joins us live with the story. Laura. And Catherine, this latest threat of job action comes from screening officers at Pearson Airport. Now, according to the Toronto Star, nearly 3,000 of these screening officers, represented by the Canadian Airport Workers Union, have voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action. The workers are employed by Garner World Security. There is a little bit of good news if you do have summer travel plans, that the two sides say they will continue bargaining until the end of this month. So it would likely be July before any job action could actually happen. But again, we have reached out to the employer in the union to try and get the story confirmed, and we're heading to Pearson right now to try and get some traveler reaction. Reporting live en route to Pearson, I'm Laura Carney.
680 News Time, 7:35. It's going to be a hot, humid, unsettled day here in the GTA. The 680 News Radio guaranteed high is 29 degrees, but it will feel like 33 with the humidity. Our meteorologist Jill Taylor says the hot temperatures are bringing some active wet weather.
We've got the potential for showers and storms today. It gets going to the north through the afternoon, but around the Toronto area around 7 o'clock tonight. And some of these storms could be very intense, bringing the potential for damaging wind and possibly some large hail.
The next round of wet weather should hold off until Sunday night. Next week, we're expecting some extreme heat and humidity, feeling like 40.
680 News Time, 7:35. Ukraine and Gaza top the agenda as leaders from the world's wealthiest democracies, including Prime Minister Trudeau, are in southern Italy for the three-day G7 summit. 680's Jamie Pulford joins us live with the latest. Jamie.
Well, Catherine, this is the 50th annual G7 summit. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in southern Italy and says in an uncertain world, relationships matter. This summit opening with an agreement on a U.S. proposal to back a $50 billion loan to Ukraine using frozen Russian assets collateral. And now a senior government source says Canada is prepared to contribute $5 billion. toward that. But how is the summit being viewed? CNN's Casey Hunt, a very pointed article from Politico.
They said this is a meeting of 6 lame ducks and Giorgia Meloni meet the G7 class of 2024. And then they write, quote, this week's gathering of G7 leaders in Italy looks more like the Last Supper than a display of Western power.
A suggestion many of those leaders likely won't be there for the next summit. There's also a big focus on getting a ceasefire deal done in Gaza, and Pope Francis in the spotlight, becoming the first pontiff to address a G7 summit, set to speak about artificial intelligence. That's set to happen tomorrow. Reporting live, I'm Jamie Halper.
680 News Time, 7:37. Canadian bank CEOs will be in front of a committee today in Ottawa, answering questions about the impacts of the financial sector on climate change and the environment. 680's Mike Apple reports from the Business Center.
The CEOs of the country's 5 biggest banks are scheduled to appear by video conference before the House of Commons Standing Committee on Environment and Sustainable Development, faced with increased scrutiny for how the lending practice